show you a quick way of showing your kids how to count a set of coins. For example, in order for them to understand how to count a set of coins, they need to know the value of each coin. For example, this is called a penny and is worth 1 cent. This is a nickel and is worth 5 cents. And then also this is a dime and it's called a dime and it's worth 10 cents. And then 25 cents, which is 20, is called a quarter. The next lesson that they need to know after that is that they need to know the equivalence of the coins. For example, a penny is the same thing as one or counting by ones. Now a nickel is more than a penny. It's 5 cents, so it's going to be 4 cents more than a penny. So your kids should be able to understand that a nickel is worth 5 pennies. They have to understand that equivalent in order to go on with the lesson I'm about to show you. Same thing with the dime. They need to know that dime is the same as 2 nickels, or it can be the same as 10 pennies, or 1 nickel and 5 pennies. So make sure that your child know the equivalence of all these coins and how they are related to each other. And of course there's going to be 10 pennies, but I don't have enough room to make that. Same thing with the quarter. They need to understand that a quarter has the most value compared to all of these coins right here. Also, a quarter can be made out with 5 nickels, 2 dime and a nickel, 25 pennies, 3 nickels and a dime, etc., etc. So making sure that your child know that and how to do the conversion of it back and forth before you can do this lesson. So let's say you give your child a set of coins and you want them to count. Traditionally, people learn how to count it by sorting the coins into the greatest value and then the second most value and then so on and so on. So for example, if you were to give your child a set of coins, something like this, you probably tell them to, okay, put them in order from dimes to pennies and then count them. And you probably go say 10, 20, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Now that is hard for some children because they cannot convert and change their way of counting from 10 to 5 and then 5 to 1. Because to them, again, this is like counting a set of things. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or some kids, they may count it like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. So that's why that way is not a good way for you to teach them how to count. What I find out is that it's easier if you were able to compose the coins together. For example, if you go, what I tell the kids is that step number 1, if I want to write this down, is that when you were giving a set of coins and you want to know how much the value is, first you sort the coins. And it doesn't matter how you sort them. For example, you can sort the dimes first, and then the pennies next, and then the nickel. Then what I told them to do is number 2, put them into a group of 10. So what does that mean is that not a set of 10 coins, but the value of 10. For example, a dime is worth 10, so I'm going to put it into one separate group. And here's another dime, that is another group. Now, can I make a group of 10 with the nickels? If I can, how many nickels would it take? So hopefully your child would say 2. However, as you can see, I don't have 2 nickels here, which means I cannot make a group of 10. So what I told the kids is that just make sure that you put them together. Whatever leftover you have, just put them together. So this is what we have. So once they put it together, then I'm going to ask them to count the coins. So hopefully they will say 5, and then they will go 6, 7, 8, 9. Or you can say, what is 5 and 4 more? And they should be able to say 9. That's why when you're saying how to add, you don't say the word add, but say how many more. For example, 5 and how many more. Kids understand that better than saying add, because the word add to them is very abstract. So let's go ahead and go back to our counting the coins. First you have 10, 20, and I tell the kid to stop. 10, 20, and how many more? So they would say 9. So I said, okay, great. So you have 10, 20, so how's that together? That's 20. So what is 20 and 9 more? So as you can see, slowly you're putting 10, counting by 10 first, and then you group that together, make it say 20. So hopefully your kids would be there. If not, it just say 10, 20, 20, and 9 more is 29. So hopefully they will know how to count it that way. So let's try another problem. So let's say I have this many nickels. I have 5 nickels. And then I have 2 dimes. And then I have 6 pennies. So step number 1, do you remember what I said? Sort the coins. So go ahead and sort them. Nickels, dimes, and then the pennies. Second step is to put the coins into a set of 10 cents. So I can do 2, like I said again, it doesn't matter which order you do. You can do 2 nickels, put them together, guide in. I like to place them on top of each other like this, not right stacked on top of each other because the kids will not see the set of coins. So just kind of put them side by side a little bit, just a little bit on top of each other. And as you can see the dimes, it can be by itself. And then of course there's some leftover. And then mainly the kids probably going to put these together. And so I normally would tell them, well, can we make another set of 10? And hopefully it would say 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So then you have another group right there. And of course this is your leftover. Now, hopefully they would say 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. What is 50 and 1 more? Always when you get towards the end of 10, ask them, and how many more? Once they've done that, then you should be able to say that's 50 and 1 more. Okay, so that's counting with dimes, nickels, and pennies. Now, here comes the hard part, it's the quarters. Well, with quarters, you're going to do the same thing. First, you are going to, well, this will be an extra step for the quarter, because the quarter does not count by 10. Which means we have to decompose the quarter into 25, into 2 dimes and a nickel. So let's say we throw in a quarter, a dime, 2 nickels, and then 1 penny. And of course, like before, we tell them the same thing. Number 1, you sort the coins. Okay, I sorted the coins. Number 2, put into groups of 10. Okay, groups of 10. Oh, this is 25 cents. So that's a group of 25. So what can we do to make that into groups of 10? Well, you probably want to write down 25 for the kids. And then you can ask them, well, what is 25 decomposed of? So they hopefully they would say 20 and 5. Well, then ask them, we don't have a 20-cent coin, so what can we do? So hopefully they would say 10, 10, and 5, which means a dime, and a nickel. So, if they were able to decompose a quarter into 25, and from your previous lesson, they should know by now that a dime, 2 dimes and 1 nickel equals to a quarter. So, we are going to decompose the quarter to 2 dimes and 1 nickel. And then you ask the kids again, once they decompose it, it's always good to ask them to again put it together. Because sometimes when the kids to decompose and you don't ask them to put it together, they don't make that connection. So make sure that they, once they decompose it, ask them to count again. 10, 20, and then separate this right here because this is the and. 20 and how many more? So hopefully they say 20 and 5 means 25. Okay, now can we make another group of 10? We sure can. Here we go. Now we got 2 more groups of 10. And then guess what? These are my leftover. So as you can see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 groups of 10 and 1 6, or the leftover. So I'm going to count 10, 20, 30, 40. What's 40 and 6 more? 46. So that's how you were able to count quarters with dimes, nickels, and pennies. So let's say you have 2 quarters this time, and maybe a dime, 3 nickels, and some penny, about 3 pennies. And then you ask your kids if they know 20, 25 makes 50, which is great. If they don't know, then do the same thing like you did from the last lesson. Number 1, you're going to sort them first. But the only thing that's different now that you have a quarter, you have to decompose your quarters because you can't count by quarters. But if you know that 2 quarters go to 50, then you can of course decompose into 5 dimes. So if they still don't know that, then you just go through the same step that you did last time. 1 quarter can be composed into 2 dimes and a nickel. I'm going to do the same thing with the other one. 1 quarter is 2 dimes and 1 nickel. So let's go ahead and count how many we have here. So if we were to put this into a group of 10, do we still have 50? Well, I don't know. Let's count. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Yes, we do. So 2 quarters is the same as 50 cents. Now that I have decomposed it, I'm going to, the third step is to count, put them to groups of 10, which I'm doing right now. 5 and 3, so I make 10, so that's 8. So I'm going to leave it right there. So now it's into a group of 10. Yes, so the third step is to count the coins and then add them together. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. 70 and 8 more is 78. Now I have 78 cents. And if you have 3 quarters, you're going to go through the whole process again. Get out the 3 quarters, decompose it into 2 dimes and 1 nickel until your child finally realizes that, oh, 2 quarters, 50 cents. I can do 5 dimes. That is going to be a learning experience for them. That is something that they will discover. So hopefully, this lesson would help you to guide your child into how to count a set of coins. Now, another lesson is ways to make amount of money. So let's say you tell your child, instead of giving them a set of coins for them to count, now you just tell them, okay, I want you to make 19 cents. So write 19 cents on the board for them, or write on the paper, write 19 cents. I would like for you to make 19 cents. At first, don't tell them a set of coins yet that they have to make or use it. Just go ahead and let them freely pick whatever they want. So hopefully they're going to get a bunch of coins like I'm doing right now. And hopefully they know what's the first step. Okay, first step, I sort my coins. Second step, I put into groups of 10. And then hopefully they can pick 19. But that's the harder way. I wouldn't show them that way. So the best way to show them is how to decompose. Decompose means to break the numbers down. For example, 19 is the same as 10 and 9. If your child does not know that, then we're going to have to pick another step way to show them. So if they know how to decompose 19 to 10 and 9, then they will know, oh, 10, that's a dime. 9, I can take 9 pennies. That equals to 19. Or they can do a dime, 1 nickel, which is, that's 10, and then they would know, oh, that's 10 and 9 more, that makes 19. So that could be the second way to make 19. Or if they want to know the third way, which is say, oh, 19 pennies. But of course, yeah, according to our decomposing way, it didn't say anything about 19 ones. It just says 1 10 and 9 ones. But then you can go extend that lesson by saying, well, there's another way you can make 19, just using pennies. Do you know what it is? So hopefully they would say 19. Then you would put out, and then they would put out 19 pennies. So that's the quickest way to show your kids how to make amount of money, certain amount of money. So let's try another problem. So that's just 19 cents. So once they get really good with 19 cents, then you want to start to, with the tens, with the teens number, like 17, 16, 12, and so on. Go with the 20s, and then the 30s, and then the 40, and so on. So let's say you want them to make 26 cents. First thing you tell them to do is let's decompose the number. 20 can be decomposed into 20 and 6. And you know 20 is made out of 10 and 10, and then you have 6. So 10 plus 20, 10 plus 10 more is 20, 20 plus 6 is 26. Okay, so let's go ahead and make it 10, 20, and then 6 more. I know 5 and 1 makes 6, so that's 26. So I'm going to count to see I have it correct. 10, 20, 20, and 6 more, that's 26. Yay, that's one way. I can also do 10, 20, and then the 6 can also be 6 ones right here. So that's the second way I can do that. Okay? So these are the 2 ways I can make 26 cents. Once they get to know, once they do this step really well, and you go, well, is there another way to make 26? Then you can go ahead and tell them that, oh, you know what? I can decompose the dime into 2 pennies, so let's trade that for 2 pennies. So that could be a third way. Same thing with the next one. You know what? I can decompose the other way. That equals to another dime and 2 more nickels. So that equals to 26 as well. But the best way to teach kids how to make a certain amount of money that you tell them to is the decomposing way. They need to know how to decompose before they start making their money. Once they decompose it really well, then you can go ahead and have them count the set of coins. However, this lesson should not be taught before the one that I've just told you, because you need to give them a certain amount of money. They have to count the total first. Once they can count the total first, then you can pick and choose how the amount of money should be counted after that. So I'm hoping those are the 2 ways that will help you to show your kids how to count money. If there's any questions, you can always email me.